This is my autocross E30, and most recently I added a homemade birch plywood splitter to said E30. And in the spirit of keeping the car as cheap as possible to enjoy a low budget fun track car, I made this out of Home Depot supplies and a couple of Amazon goodies. As you can tell, splitter rods. Not in the best location, but here's what I learned off of making my homemade birch plywood splitter. Now, one thing I do want to address is that my car is an XB or Extreme Street B car for autocross. Now, the principle is going to be a little bit different, but most of the stuff is going to be related to making a home splitter. Now, one of the first things and the most important things was I used a plumb bob, which is about a $4 piece that you can buy from Harbor Freight. And the plumb bob, basically you just put the string as close as you can to your nearest edge, let it dangle down, and then you can mark it down on your cardboard. Now, this is a cardboard that I use, and you can tell along the sides, the edges of this splitter, where the plumb bob locations were, which happen to be right here, so on and so forth. So that would be the first piece of the pie. And this project is one of those things that you want to measure as many times as possible, so you only have to cut once. You know the saying, measure twice, cut once? Well, this is more like measuring 54 times and then cut once. Now, on my piece of cardboard, I left myself a bunch of notes, as well as some marking points, where I could mark down where I wanted to be mounted and the things that I had to watch out for. Now, specifically for my scenario, XB class allows your splitter or your underbelly to come as far as the front middle point of the axle. So that's why I added 4.5 inches right here to this line. And one of the biggest keys to success was putting this piece of cardboard taped underneath the car and just kind of pressing against everything so I could cut out outlines of the things that I needed to watch out for, such as the steering rack and the oil pan on the underside. Here's my splitter outline matched up to my birch plywood. You can see that I can make about 2 of these guys per sheet of plywood, which is a good thing. These guys are about $80. Now, my air dam is nothing more than just a bunch of Home Depot gardening edger, which came out to about $25. Amazon splitter rods. I know this isn't the best location. It was just the best that I could do without drilling into the car. These guys came out to about $24 for the 4-pack. So, quick advice for making your homemade splitter. Number 1, measure as much as you can so you don't end up with some funny edges, funny shapes, and you can actually get the splitter to what you want it to be. For example, mine is 4.5 inches right here. So off of my template, I added 4.5 inches all around the front trim of my bumper so I could get that nice shape that I was looking for. Second piece of advice is know where you're going to try to mount it from. Me personally, I didn't want to drill into the chassis or my rail guards, and I didn't want to weld into the car either. So that left me pretty limited to what I was going to mount the splitter to. And the last piece of advice is if you're going to go ahead and do it at home, make sure you have all the tools that you need before you start, and don't be afraid to fail and mount it anywhere you need to.